Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Israel Brief, as always brought to you by Lay of the Land and hosted by me, Rolene Marks, where we take a look at those top stories making headlines here in Israel. And this has been just quite a busy news week with all the developments around the judicial overhaul. But is this causing a looming crisis for ties between Israel and the United States of America? Now, yesterday we brought you the story that the U.S. ambassador to Israel, Tom Knight, said that an invitation for Prime Minister Netanyahu to visit the White House is imminent. It should happen after a Passover, which starts next week. And this is the longest time that an elected Prime Minister has taken to visit the White House. However, last night things took a turn when U.S. President Joe Biden, addressing an impromptu press pack, said that he implores Prime Minister Netanyahu to walk away from the overhaul, saying that he worries about Israel's democracy and saying that Israel is headed down a very difficult path. And he also indicated that he doesn't see any visits to the US for Prime Minister Netanyahu anytime soon. The Biden administration was also forced to dismiss allegations by Yair Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu's son, saying that there were elements of the American administration that were funding the anti-judicial overhaul protests. Now, earlier today, in an address to the Democracy Institute, the Prime Minister called ties with the United States unshakable and says he believes that we will pass the overhaul, but through consensus. Meanwhile, National Unity Chairman Benny Gantz has cautioned the Prime Minister, saying that this is an urgent wake-up call and that any hits on ties between Israel and the United States are a strategic hit. Meanwhile, National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir said that the Biden administration would be well-versed to know that Israel is not another star on the American flag. Prime Minister Netanyahu responded to the comments from President Biden, saying, "We will not take this kind of criticism from anybody or assault on our sovereignty from anybody, even a best friend." Meanwhile, members of the Likud, as well as the far-right factions, have said that Israel doesn't need the United States. They can go it alone. President Herzog last night started meetings with the opposition and the coalition as the proposed judicial overhauls go on a pause. Today, the president is meeting with smaller factions, including Meretz, Balad, Ra'am, and various others. Now, these are all taking place at the president's residence and are closed to the media. Yesterday, news broke that the Mossad had helped Greek police foil an Iranian plot to attack Israeli and Jewish targets in Greece. In a statement released by the government press office on behalf of Mossad earlier today, it was stated that the Mossad said they'd worked in cooperation with the Greek police, giving them intelligence, and had managed to uncover an extensive network that was run by the Iranians. And finally, Prime Minister Netanyahu announced earlier today that come September this year, Israelis will no longer need a visa to visit the United States, that Israel will be a member of the U.S. waiver program for visas starting in September. At the moment, Israelis do need a visa to visit the U.S. And that brings us to the end of today's broadcast. Don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook page is at Lottel Site. Guys, we would love it if you like us, follow us, share our content. We're on YouTube at the Israel Brief. Please consider clicking on the subscribe button, liking and sharing our content. And we're on Twitter at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, and I'll see you again tomorrow as we wrap up the top stories of the week.